Welcome, Jen Haddix, spiritual coach and sound healer to Random Spirit Podcast. Woo! Thank you for, taking time out of your day to go on and, speak with me. I'm so excited. I absolutely love you're a Capricorn, correct?
So I'm an Aquarius, but I have four
Okay,
planets
okay.
in Capricorn.
Okay, when's your birthday? Is it
January
February?
26th.
Happy early birthday.
Thank you. I'm going to be 40. I'm very
Woo!
excited.
You
Yeah.
don't look it.
Aw. That's so sweet.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, just like, okay, we are just gonna go on. It's gonna be all about you, girl. Go on and start off just like anything you want to share and just what you do, right? What got you into like what you're doing.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, there's a long story, there's a short story, but really, like most of us that are in this healing space, it started with my own healing journey and my own dark night of the soul and my own just kind of peeling back the layers of myself. And I feel like as you do that, you start to feel this really deep sense of compassion for others, which kind of naturally puts you in a position where you really want to help guide others because you don't want anybody to feel the way that you felt at your darkest point.
Mhm.
And so my story always starts with a bipolar diagnosis back in
Oh,
2016. Bipolar 2.
okay.
Yeah, so I do mindfully try not to identify with that too much, but at the time it
Yeah.
was very helpful because I felt very alone. And so I was just really dark, really sad, and got diagnosed. I was on medication, and then a homeopath, a teacher, a healer came into my life and just held space for me in a way that had never been held before. And she actually helped me get off of my meds using homeopathic remedies.
How was that?
Amazing, because they'll tell you like you're going to be on lithium and Klonopin for the rest of your life, and you
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like you just do not feel good.
I've heard.
Yeah, it's bad. So anybody who's been diagnosed with something like that
Hmm.
definitely knows. So we sent my meds off to the lab, and they sent me homeopathic versions of lithium and Klonopin, and I was able to wean off of them over a year.
Wow, girl. Congrats.
Yes, I haven't been on meds in a long time. But yeah, so that's kind of just how it started. It opened the door. I found a teacher, and then I did my yoga teacher certification. I taught yoga for a few years. Before I did that, I started a different business. So I owned a pet sitting company for several
Hmm.
years. But it just eventually, the more doors you open and the more spiritual things are shown to you, you just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. And in all the businesses that I've had and all the spiritual work that I've done, they've just started to kind of meld together to
Yeah.
create the intention that I have now.
Okay. What's that intention?
I really believe that we are going into a golden age. We are currently in the age of
Hmm.
Aquarius. I think everything that we've been doing is falling away, the way that we've been doing things like the 9 to 5 grind and just the push yourself
Yes.
type
Hmm.
energy is like done. And so my biggest intention is to do whatever I can to open up as many people to their unique gifts and talents and show their beautiful selves to them so that they can
Hmm.
share their gifts with the world, because I think that's the way that we continue to break through and forward into the new time, is to stop doing what we think we have to do and do what we feel called to do and do what we came here to do.
I love that you guide people through that process.
I do.
Okay. Is there like I don't know if the word is like niche or like is there a niche that you have, or is it just like peer people that are just that want to get into this type of work?
Yeah, it's funny because niche is a word that makes so many of us feel like, oh God, I have to be like box.
Right? Like we have to like
We're like, oh, do I have to fit into one niche? And all of the
hmm.
spiritual people are like, ew, I don't like that. But I think
Yeah.
I'm grateful you asked, because I think a lot of people still, where we're at now in this current paradigm, is we feel like we need to understand the box that we're in so that we can move past it. And
Hmm.
so it's not a certain niche of people, but it really is anybody that feels like there's more and they don't know how to access it, but they know that there's something in them that's trying to come out, and they may not be able to explain it, but it's an energetic thing. So a lot of people are called to me just because they recognize that I see something either in them or in the world that they want to be a part of, and we all see it. It's just a matter
Hmm.
of having the space to be safe to pull it out and look at it. You know what I mean?
So you're helping the collective. You're helping this new, I'm not, I don't know what you call it, but this new wave, right?
I mean, we like new earth, new paradigm. A lot of people call it all kinds of different things, but I think most of us are feeling the shift. And to a lot of us, it feels negative. It feels like the world is falling apart and things are getting a little crazy. But those of us who can kind of see behind the veil are like, no, it's okay. That's just all the stuff moving out of the way so that we can go into whatever you want to call it, new paradigm, new
No,
earth,
yeah.
golden
I
age.
feel
That
like it's this you have this conditioning, like how you said like you have this 9 to 5, and I feel like what's attached to that just this is my opinion, y'all, okay? To anyone, but I feel like what's attached to that is this you have this like structure, and it's very like discipline, all these rules, and it's like you have to like meet this like criteria or whatever, and it's this you have to grind, you have to be unhappy, you have to you have this, but then you have people like yourself and I that like we make our own schedules, and we I mean me, I absolutely fucking love what I do. I'm sure you do,
do it.
and it's like it's where I don't know what you call it, but we're kind of like shifting that, and we're just like you don't have to work necessarily hard. I guess I no, I work hard. I know you work hard, but it's a different type of
Different.
work hard, you
Yes.
know?
I agree because I feel like society tells us you need to be miserable, you need to grind, good things don't come easy. That's the kind of crap we've been told forever. And we do work really hard, but it doesn't feel the same. It feels purposeful. It feels
Hmm.
exciting. And I get tired and sometimes I gotta, give myself a break and calm down. But
Yeah.
for the most part, it's an exciting work hard. It's like, oh my God, I'm doing the thing I came here to do. And you're just
Hmm.
constantly breaking through barriers, and I don't know, it's just a different kind of work hard.
It really is. Do you mind talking more about your whatever you're comfortable with, girl?
Yeah,
About your is it bipolar too, is what you said?
yeah, bipolar too.
How was that? Like I don't have anyone that had that, in
Oh,
my life or anything. So I'm just curious as to you are on these medications, right?
I was.
Um and then just that shift. I know there's a lot of people that are that I know that are on medication and they're petrified and they're I feel this episode might be triggering. I'm trying to tiptoe around
We
words,
love
Jen,
you
okay?
guys. It's okay if you're triggered, you're safe. I totally, yeah, absolutely, it might be, but that's okay.
Yes. But it's just like they're so dependent on it. And like say like one day they're off it and they're spazzing. I don't know if that's what you call withdrawal. Like how did you get through that?
Thank you for being willing to talk about it, especially when you don't have it in your own space, because there is a
Yeah.
stigma around it, and those of us that do deal with it, it does feel very isolating because people who don't understand are like, "Well, I don't get it. Why can't you just snap out of it, or why can't you just move past it?" I
So
know you're not.
insensitive. Yeah,
Yeah, I know you don't
that's
have that
not
energy.
me, y'all.
Yeah, so we're not insensitive here because the thing is that even though I've done so much work and so much healing and I don't really identify with the diagnosis as much anymore, I still see it and I still have these waves, and I when I'm in that space I feel very isolated and I'm like nobody really gets this. And so it's a process, and I'm going to use a different metaphor, but somebody once explained
Yes.
grief to me, and they said that grief is like a boat in the ocean, and when a big wave comes through and the boat kind of goes like this, and then
Yes.
the wave goes away, it gets smaller and smaller, and then eventually flattens out, and then it does it again. Um, this is kind of the same way. It comes in waves,
Mm.
and I think that it really comes down to peeling back the layers of conditioning. And then I
Mhm.
also attribute a lot of success to shadow work and spending time looking at myself and the parts of myself that I feel ashamed of or scared of or embarrassed about or not enough in, and really spending time with that person. And it's
Mhm.
confronting and it's scary. And so while I will not at all ever talk against anybody who takes meds. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right that there is a dependency because there's a lot of fear there, and it's hard to face
Mhm.
yourself. And so the pills or the medication helps save your life because it saved my life, but it also
Yeah.
numbs you to that. And so I really think that anybody who does struggle with this, you have to give yourself permission to do it as slowly as you need to. There's no rush, there's no hurry, there's no I have to get from A to B. Your process is your process. And as a side note, like yesterday, I did a guided mushroom psilocybin journey. And
No way.
yeah, so I'm actually glad I'm here because I was like, can I do this today? Because it was holy shit. Because I've done ayahuasca. I went to Peru in February and did
Girl.
ayahuasca. Yeah. So I went all the way to Peru by myself and I did 4 sits of ayahuasca. And so when I did mushrooms yesterday, I've done mushrooms before, but I've never been guided and I've never done as much as I did. And I'm like, oh yeah, but I did ayahuasca. I'm fine. Uh, um, damn. Like they were, I mean, they're nicer than ayahuasca. They, asked my permission if I wanted to open some scary doors. Ayahuasca was like, we're opening the door.
They were
Mushroom
nice.
don't want to. And I was like, no, I don't. Thank you. But it was a wild journey. And my boyfriend actually came with me, and he's never done that many psychedelics with me before.
Really?
Yeah, and he's a much more
Oh.
grounded person than I am, and he doesn't handle trauma the same way. And I went to some really dark places, and I was surrounded by these people that pulled me out and held me and helped me and got me out of the dark spot. And so that is another thing that I'm a very big, it's not for everybody, but plant medicine can be a very healing thing when you struggle with mental illness. It's like a guide to seeing yourself and it holds you while you look at that shadow stuff, if that makes sense.
I absolutely love that. I'm telling you, girl. I know like there is a lot of people in my audience that they have this mental illness and I don't know if it's what it is, but it's like this fear of, I don't know where my mind's gonna go. Like I'm so fucked up, So take it from Jen, y'all, because
Yeah, like you're okay, and I know it because it feels. Cause the other thing I learned is that when you have mental illness, you feel like you're the only person in the world who has it, and nobody understands you. And there are some people like you who are very compassionate but don't fully understand. There are other people that are not compassionate and don't understand at all. But there are people that do get it. There are
Mhm.
you are not alone. And I remember at first I wanted to be special and be alone and be the only one who had the problem, which was weird. I'm not sure where that came from, but as I realized, like I'm not alone.
Mhm.
And then you bring in plant allies and healing modalities to really bring the universe into it. You're so divinely held. The things that you're scared of are not real. They're just yeah.
How did you get into plant? Like you went from meds,
Mhm.
right, to off meds, and then now we're tripping in an
Yep.
amazing way.
Uh-huh.
Girl, I love this. I love it. How did you get into the plant medicine?
When you hang out in the space with the yogis and the sound, that's just what they do. But when you're on the outside, you're like, I don't even know how to connect with the people that have it. I don't know where it's safe to do it. I don't know who to
No,
talk to,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
But
It's
when you,
very
so it's kind of
sacred.
like an underground thing. And so you just start to kind of talk to people that you trust. And I found a person that was coming to my yoga classes that was willing to give me psilocybin for the first time and just sit with me. And I've just kind of been slowly getting into that. And then of course, ayahuasca is something that you pay to go over to a retreat center or however you want to do it. That's something I've wanted to do for years, but it took me a while to afford it and be ready because it's a
No,
very,
yeah.
but yeah, when you hang out with these people enough, that's what they do. They don't tell you
I
till you,
love that.
yeah,
Do you because like I've heard that ayahuasca is she calls to you.
yes, she does.
That's true.
Yeah. Oh, it's very. Have you done anything like this before?
So the only thing that I have done, okay, your girl did CBD.
Okay.
It was like a pen. It was with my brother. We did like a guided meditation, whatever. And for me, I don't know, it's because like I'm a Virgo, like I'm petrified of surrendering that control. I
Yes.
did 2 sessions. The first session, I felt the resistance.
Yeah.
And I had someone with me and there was a lot of things that I wanted to say, but I couldn't because he was in the space. And then the second session, Jen, when I tell you, I took that hit. I was in that place and I was gone. I wish I could have recorded it. I didn't remember a single thing, Jen. Okay.
Really?
There was a lot of times that I would get back into it was trauma, girl. I would get back into my body and I have, sexual trauma and I would wake up and then like I felt it and I'm like, whoop, we're not doing that. And I would get back in. And then I came out and like I felt like I was running. I was like, ooh, I was like, okay, I don't know what's going on. And then I went back.
Yeah. And so that's on CBD that happened to you?
Hey, girl. Hmm.
See, so I think you raise a really important point because first of all, plant medicine will call you. So don't force yourself if it feels scary to you. Like I think you would
Yeah.
be scared. I think you would be like, wow, this is too much. It might
No,
call
no,
you
thank
someday.
you.
But you know what I mean? Like you're like, oh, it's too much like lack of control. Like
Hmm.
I felt that yesterday. I was like, I was so out of
Oh,
control.
wow.
And I have a really hard time surrendering to it. And I was like shaking and I had so much adrenaline that I was freezing and my body was shaking and it was really, yeah, because I get scared and it's hard to let go of control. So some people don't feel called to it because that's not what they need. Some people will have those
Correct.
experiences in my sound baths. There's no medicine there, there's no plants, but they will still have this
Right? Hmm.
experience there. So
Hmm.
you can have that experience on CBD and not have to ingest something scary to still get to the place is accessible to all of us. We just have different
Yes.
doors to get to
Thank you for saying that.
it.
Absolutely. Because I feel it's so crazy when I when my brother brought it up, he gave me options. He was like, "You want some shrooms? You want this?" And I was like, I was thinking about the shrooms, but then I was like, you know what, Cynthia? You like barely with fucking like weed, girl. Like, come
Right?
lightweight, like and I made the mistake. I think it was the first time I didn't eat. I know, don't judge me. I was a fucking dumbass.
Yeah, bad idea.
The second time, and it was so crazy because after I had gone out, my brother works with the church, whatever, and my cousin was there. I haven't seen him in years, and I was out of it, and I was like, oh my fucking god. And then he was like, yeah, our cousin. And I looked at him, I was like, I am not in the right mindset. I'm gonna sit here, I'm a trauma dump.
Yeah, and we don't want a trauma dump when we're not ready for that. That's terrifying.
Yeah, but yeah, oh my God, just going back, I feel like that experience for me was it was very extremely healing for me, just because a lot of the things that I was conscious of is playing out now, and it's like, Cynthia, heal that sexual trauma, and I'm like, no, but then anyway.
But you will when you're ready. That's the other thing too.
Yes.
That the shaman type figure yesterday shared with me. He was like, you did as much as you needed to do in that moment. There's absolutely no
Hmm.
need to hurry. There's no need to force because it was trying to show me like certain doors that I could have opened where I have a lot
That's
of sexual trauma
crazy.
too. But I was in the presence
Mhm.
of like I said, my first time my boyfriend's doing it with me. I wasn't really ready to unpack that in front
No,
of him.
yes, yes,
Even though he
yes,
was
yes,
very
yes.
safe, I was like, that could go somewhere that I'm just like not ready
No,
for
thank
right
you.
now. I'm like, no, thank you, because you can feel it, right? If you felt it in your body,
Hmm.
like I can almost feel it like in my sexual organs.
Yes,
I'm like, oh
the
no, I
sacral
don't,
chakra.
yes, and it was scary. And so, I think that it meets you where you are. Anybody listening, wherever you are, is fine. I feel
Hmm.
like we're so in a hurry. We're so like, I don't have A, B, and C yet. I'm not going to be good until I have this. Even if you're
Hmm.
mid-meal, it feels like you need to get to a finish line. There's no finish line. The
Yeah, for real.
human is miraculous. The fact that you're here existing in whatever plane you are and whatever experience you're having, I just hope anybody can hear that and just know that just your existence is
Hmm.
exactly
Absolutely. What got you into the actual work? Like, okay, so first off, girl, like just give me what do you offer? What do you do in the beautiful healing space that you're doing with sound bath and the coaching?
Yeah, I do a lot. So, my business is kind of like 50% in person, and then the other 50% is online. So, I've got a lot of people in Reno that I work with in the sound baths, mini retreats, cacao ceremonies, kirtan chanting. So, I host like chanting events where we all get together and just like open our throat chakras. And that is kind of like my in-person healing medicine that I like to bring people together to where they get to feel the vibration of this healing energy that
Hmm.
society kind of keeps from us. When you're
Yeah.
growing, you don't get a chance to connect with it. So I try to create a space where people can come into there again and again and again. And so the sound healing is my favorite. Because I'm a musician. I was a musical theater geek for the longest time. I used to perform a lot, and I couldn't figure out a way to incorporate music and singing into my business. And this kind of has come through, and it's turned into a really beautiful healing thing for me and others. And then online, I have my spiritual life coaching, which I don't do as much anymore because it's more business that's been coming through for me.
I love
Really?
that. Oh
Oh,
my
okay. Yeah, just because I
God.
think that, I mean, life coaching is kind of like a natural, when I work
Hmm.
with people on life coaching, they end up wanting to do their own business anyway, because all of us, I mean, and I want to say too that I'm not knocking anybody who has a 9 to 5. If that feels
Yeah.
good and you genuinely, some people have jobs that they love, that
Hmm.
structure feels good for them, that space feels good for them. But for those of us who are like, you know what, I'm doing this because I have to, I'm doing this because I feel like I need to, but I would really rather be creating this random thing that makes absolutely no sense in my
Hmm.
heart, and I don't know how. So I hold space for those people. Uh, I know we talked about this last time about human design,
Yes.
and you are a
Projector.
you are too, right?
A 6'2" projector, yes.
5-2 projector. Okay, so
Oh.
as projectors, we're very unique in a lot of different ways. We're only 20% of the population, but we are the seers. And so we have this unique ability to expand out and see
Hmm.
from a bigger view and not a better view. I'm not saying bigger or better. Generate
Yeah.
70%. They kind of see things a little bit more here because that's how they were created. And we
Hmm.
are actually able to look at people and really see them. Some people don't like it. Some people aren't ready for that. Some people are like, don't look at me, you're creeping me out. But the people that really are waiting for you, the people that really want to be seen, we can see them and reflect, project their magic back to them. And so that is something that is unique about being in my space is it just comes to me naturally. I look at people and they may not be able to see the beautiful, unique medicine that they have, what they came here to share, but I can look at them and share it with them, and then I take them through tools that help them connect with it themselves. And so again, like inner child work, shadow work, chakra work, sound healing, and then of course I've been doing business for a long time, so I know how to build all the funnels and the marketing and the advertising and all of that. But I try to, and this is something we're new earth, we're still creating a new way of doing things. I try to make showing up and marketing feel as good as possible. And so a lot of that needs to be authenticity work and people feeling safe to be seen
Hmm.
and really believing in what they have so they don't feel like gross salesmen. And that's where a lot of people that come into my space are like, yeah, I just
Wow.
really embarrassed to be, I don't want my family to see me. I don't want so and so to watch me. I don't want to be all over the internet because I don't want people to judge me. And I try to get them to a place where their mission and their desires and their medicine and their healing is more important than what people think of them.
I absolutely love that, especially like in a business aspect. And it's so crazy. I was speaking to my friend, I think it was like yesterday, and it's interesting because a lot of the people that I've worked with like, coaching and spiritual stuff, the beauty of it, and thank you and all the other coaches, is that it's like the internal is going to affect your external. So whatever it is that you're going to be doing, whether it's like a business you're going to be putting your mind to, you absolutely need that inner child work. You need that chakra heal. What, like, whatever it is, it's that mindset, it's that frequency, that foundation. I was speaking to this one girl, and it was like about podcasting, and I don't know, I'm still trying to figure out, it did not align. Okay, she
Okay.
like just a, a lot of the things that she was saying, and I was just like, it very salesy, and I was just
You
like,
feel it.
I don't align with that. You do you, that's great, but I personally don't align with it because I care about the mindset and stuff like that. I don't believe, to each their own. Don't
Yes.
go into something if you don't have that foundation, because it's just fucked up, okay?
Yeah. So did you have her on your show and you were like, mm-mm.
No, we were just vibing, and I wanted to see, because I have my podcast and stuff, and this is something I'm passionate about, and I want to expand it, right?
Yeah.
And she seemed like an option, and I'm very spiritual. My spirit guides were like, "You're gonna learn something from this," and I said, "Cool." So
Uh-huh.
like I'm going into it, and I'm like, "Fuck."
You're like,
I'm
oh,
like,
that's not
okay,
what I thought I was going to learn. I thought I was going to learn something, yeah, right? So that lets you know
right?
what you don't align with. And so I think you bring up a really important point because there are so many coaches out there, and there's nothing wrong with the way they're doing things. But
Yeah.
if it,
Mhm.
because I hired a coach right in the beginning of all of this years ago,
Yeah.
like $8,000, which is kind of par for the course for a coaching program. That's fine. But very salesy, very corporate, very go cold sales in your DM and go do this and this and this. And there was something about it that I was like, I don't like it. I don't feel good, but I felt like I needed
Mhm.
to do it because I'm like, oh, she's an authority and she knows what she's doing and I need to follow her. No, you
Yeah.
don't. No, I know that it's tempting to follow that, tried and true method of
Yeah.
like MLM style, pyramid style, whatever, and it's making money. That's fine. But where we're going, what you're talking about is the future, that sort of attract, don't chase energy. I know we don't
Hmm.
know exactly how to do it yet. We're figuring it out all together, but it will happen. It's going to be more and more and more. You're going to be able to align your energy with, like you said, the inside world creates your outside world, and that will attract clients. You don't have to go out and do all the things that feel gross to you. You really don't.
Hmm.
And it might be a longer process than you want it to be because there is that healing that needs to happen. But remember that the universe is not in a hurry. We are. Really.
Yeah, us as
Always try to
humans.
hurry at it. We're like, oh, I need to get it together right now. And I know if you're listening to this and you're like, yeah, well, I'm broke and I really want to quit my job and blah, blah, blah. If you start here, in like you're brilliant for saying that. Your inner world reflects your like that's what creates the
Hmm.
outer world. It will start to shift. It
Yeah.
really, yeah.
Hmm. I agree. What did little Jen want to be when she grew up? Like, little Jen, what does she want to be? Does she want to be what she's doing right now?
I don't think she knew, but I love her so much. I've been
Mm.
spending so much time with her, and I got to see her
Yes.
yesterday, and I was really my intentions for this year are to spend as much time with her as possible and let her have a say in everything that I do. I think she always wanted to be a singer because that's just a big part of who I am, and I did theater for so long, and I really wanted to move to New York and do
Oh,
Broadway. I went
wow.
to Chicago and did like professional auditions. Like I was really into it. Yeah,
Wow.
I've done a lot of work in that area, and then I moved to Austin back in 2011, and I was kind of trying to pursue theater there, even though it's not like the most theater place. It just was the next move that I did, and then I took time away from it. And I felt like such a failure because I'm like, oh, I gave up on my dreams. I gave up, blah, blah, blah. But now that I am where I am, I'm like, oh, okay. I can see that she actually got exactly what she wanted. She just needed to
Hmm.
kind of be guided and shown the way. And so she definitely would want to do exactly what I'm doing right now. I get to be with people and share my voice and have this freedom and not feel boxed in. And I think that this is what she always wanted to do.
I love that. I love how like you're spending time with that like inner child. I feel like there's a lot to it, you know? There's a lot to it. You need to, sit with your inner child and different parts of yourself, right? I'm sitting with the 20-year-old me.
Oh,
Mm.
why is that? Mm.
Well, because I'm like my love language is acts of service, and during that time, I was pregnant with my girls, and I was like in this space of like giving, 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 just and I never turned into me. I didn't honestly, so crazy, until literally last year is when I was like, you know what, I'm done.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We're done. Are we done with that shit?
And that's it. So
Good for
what
you.
is thank you. What is the most challenging thing about what it is that you do, your work?
I, as a projector, I find it very challenging to explain what I'm offering in a way that makes sense to people who are more grounded and earthly. I feel like especially yesterday, the mushrooms, I was like, oh, I get it. I understand completely. I see exactly where things are going. But to verbalize this in a way that is systematic and makes sense and really offers a solution to the people that are looking for it, I find that that's challenging. And so something that I'm kind of working on is working with my own energy and trusting it and not having to make it make sense all the time and just knowing that spirit is working through me. And if I can just kind of follow and go with it and let myself be a vessel and a conduit rather than trying to control everything, that it will attract the right people.
Yeah.
I do struggle with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very random, extremely random,
I love
girl.
random.
Look.
I love
So
it.
I'm, just sitting here listening to you, and I'm a sidekick. I get a lot of downloads, and it's so beautiful. You are just so beautiful outside, and I feel it energetically. It's very difficult for me to connect with people that are receptive.
Hmm.
That's you. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for being you. Thank
Thank
you for being you. I really I appreciate it. Do you have any advice for, anyone wanting to get into the work that you're doing?
like the spiritual business type
Hmm.
and maybe breaking free from what they're already doing and getting into something
Yes.
they care about.
Hmm.
I have been, I would say, kind of prescribing. inner child work to anyone because we came into the world just bright and beautiful and ready with this mission that we came here to do.
Mhm.
And slowly society kind of told you what to do instead. And so the answers for what how to get there are with your inner child. And so you can, think about what you used to love to, like what you asked me, what did little Jen want to be? Ask them what they wanted to do. Try to remember what it was that you used to do when you were a
Mhm.
kid, where you would just hours, you didn't even need to eat, you didn't want to talk to anybody. You were just so engrossed in this thing that made you feel so much joy. There's something there. And while it might take you some time to figure out how to bring it into the present moment, give yourself kindness with that and sit. There's, I mean, I'm not a very visual person, so I have a hard time visualizing my inner child. So if I have a hard
Yeah.
time seeing them, I use a picture of myself and just kind of sit.
Yes, that
Like that's very
works.
helpful for me. Or even like last night when I was still, the shrooms hung out with me till 10 p.m. I was like, oh my God, guys, can you like, my boyfriend was down at 4 and they were still chatting with me. I was like, good Lord, I'm ready to go to sleep.
Wow.
But I was with my dogs and one of my little dogs, she's only 6 pounds. She's tiny, old, very sweet. And I almost started to treat her like my inner child. And that was something that I had a
Oh.
really like compassionate, because I don't have children. Um, I just felt this deep compassion because she kept like she gets kind of anxious and needy and she keeps coming over and going away and coming over and going away and I was like getting annoyed. And I'm like, "Oh, you know what? Like my little girl would probably just come over and just want some love and if I just gave her the space that she needed and didn't tell her to go away or hurry up, how would that change?" And so I kind of used Bean is her name as an example for that. So there's a lot of different ways to access your inner child. It can be looking at a picture of them, it can be imagining them, but try to listen to them. And that I really think will start to open the doors to help you get a few steps closer to whatever
Mhm.
reality you're trying to manifest.
1000%. Thank you for sharing that.
Of
Thank you for
course.
sharing that. Just
Yeah.
because I'm extremely like I'm seeing things as we're
I was
speaking.
gonna say I
So
can tell you're like, what is it,
I
Claire? What is the
clair clairvoyant.
clairvoyant? Thank you. Yeah, I've
When
got psychics in my space that are clairvoyant. I am not.
when I was young, like when I first got was getting into the space, I was like, what do I like to do? I used to dance back in the day.
What kind of dance?
And I used to dance how do you pronounce it? It's Mexican folklorico. It's like Mexican ballet with the big dresses and you know
Oh,
um I used to do that in college. That was, the major that I wanted to do. I find a lot of peace to this day in like ballet and like modern jazz. That's what I was like into. And then trauma happened and then I had to move across, or I didn't have to, but I chose to move across the country, whatever. So then around, I would say like my spiritual awakening or whatever, I was like, what do, and then like I was trying, I was like, huh. And it's crazy because I didn't realize back then I did the folclorico because it made my parents proud, you know? And I
oh.
was like, huh. And then I was like, what do, and it like to this day, I mean, I don't know, because I was a daydreamer. Girl, I daydreamed. I daydreamed. I was doing a lot of like weird shit when I was little. And I guess you could like associate that with, what it is that I do, like psychic stuff. I used to see
Oh,
things a
absolutely.
lot. I was in Delulu. I still daydream, but it's not as intense as it was when I was, little. So
Well, but now you know what it is too. Like you're connected to your gifts, and so are you
yeah.
seeing anything right now?
Am I seeing and
You said you're seeing a bunch of stuff.
the only thing I'm seeing is rest, and I think that's for you. I feel like it's for me too, but it's
We're
it's just
projectors, so we
rest.
need to always rest. We need a lot of that.
That's something that I have difficulties with, just because it's like I, I'm a mother and I don't really have time to really do much. So when the kids are here, it's all about them. But then when they're not, it's like I'm still having a difficult time balancing my spiritual services, my podcast, and me. Because right now, I'm not really like focusing on me. I'm focusing more on my podcast and my spiritual services.
Yeah.
So after this, I am going to do some self care, whatever. But it's, something that, do you struggle with that or no?
Oh yeah. No. Well, because the other thing too, not to make it all about human design,
No,
but
yeah, yeah.
we are conditioned to do things the way that everybody else does, and of course, for you, your reality is that you don't have as much time as you want for that. But yeah, I'm a workaholic for sure. I definitely grind and I have to just consistently check myself and be like, all right, go outside, put your feet in the grass, take a break, go for a walk, come back, it's not going anywhere. It's gonna, unfold in perfect time. But, I think it's really beautiful that you're showing up for your kids. I know that I have
Hmm.
a lot of mom friends in my life and they're always like, oh, I don't do enough or I'm not,
Hmm.
I just think there's a lot of like I don't want to know if it's mom guilt, but as
Oh,
somebody,
it
it is.
hardcore because I didn't have that like growing up. Yeah, my mom was there, but she wasn't necessarily like we will play hide and seek, Jen. And I'm like, this big ass girl like trying to hide under the table and like that is a type of like I'm very present, I'm very active. I didn't have that growing up.
Yeah.
So
And so I
there's a
just like
lot of guilt.
when I see moms like you, I feel the need to tell you just thank you because I mean, my
Oh,
mom, and it's like the TMI thing, but my mom, she killed herself about 14 years ago with,
I'm sorry.
it's okay, no, it's okay, but I actually got to talk to her yesterday because I saw her too, and there's like a lot of pain and sadness, and she's fine. I have a relationship with her on the other side, but she wasn't present, right? And I
Hmm.
see all these beautiful moms that are trying so hard to show up. Like you said, you're very present with your kids, you're playing with them, and you still somehow feel like you're not doing enough. There's
Yep.
somehow, and that's not true. It's just the mothering energy from you guys, even if it's not like you're not my mom, but I feel mothering energy from you. Those of us that really need it.
Oh, she's receptive.
I'm receptive. See, I'm receiving your motherly love, and it's such a powerful archetype in the world that we're going into. And so I just hope you feel that and you recognize your value in that way because it's needed. It's so needed.
I'm gonna cry after this. Thank you, Jen.
You're welcome.
I have one very last quick question, and then I do have your cards that I pulled here. What is your favorite thing about this work that you're doing?
I really just love seeing people fall in love with themselves. I really
Mm,
love people seeing, I like seeing the layers fall away. I like people just kind of waking up and recognizing their value. I think that we've been
hmm.
taught we're small. I think we've been taught to be compliant. I think we've been taught to conform and fit in. And so I get to watch person after person after person just expand and open. And it just makes me feel this deep sense of compassion for humanity and it helps me
Hmm.
heal. Not that it's about me, it's about everyone, but it
No,
really,
yeah.
that's my favorite part. I love it.
We're all reflections of each other. And I think the most amazing thing is that, we gain something like energetically or whatever the fuck when we're working with someone. I absolutely love like when I'm working with someone and like they, find themselves outside of like the roles that they play. And I'm just like,
Yes, that, yes.
I
Yeah,
love it.
love it. Love it.
I love it. Okay, so I do have like these cards for you, Jen. Okay, are you ready? Are you
Oh yeah,
ready?
so receptive. I'm ready to receive.
Okay, so one of the first ones, and hopefully you can see because I know I have like blurred out, my room's a mess, but we have let go of control and relax into the flow. Mm, okay.
Yeah, mushroom said
Ah,
the same thing yesterday, girl.
I feel like it's more in the sense of like your personal life, maybe. I don't know if it's like your everyday. We have commit to self-care rituals. Here we go. When
Mhm.
is the last time you did self-care, Jen? When was the last time you put a mask on? You did something like when?
It's
When?
been a minute. It has been, I would tell any client to do it, and then I'm over here like grinding away and not taking
It's
care of myself.
really like that.
It
It's
really is.
really like that.
Yeah.
I can relate. Like I can sit here, like I could give affirmations. I tell people I'm very like just like structured in that way, but then it's like reflective. I don't like words of affirmation, Jen. I don't. It triggers me. I
Yeah,
don't.
it's because you don't feel like you're worth it or something. There's
Hmm.
something there about
Yeah.
worthiness that comes up where, like yesterday after my journey, I actually looked in the mirror and I looked at myself and I said, I love you so much. And I never can do that because it freaks me out. It triggers me. I
It's
feel
uncomfortable.
uncomfortable. But yesterday I was so open. I was like, I love you. I got you. It was really cool. So I hope that you can do the same because I know, I don't know, like we're doing the work, right? And like we're busy, we're grinding, but I think if we can carve in and build in that part and whatever. So, like you said, you're going to do some self care after this.
Yes.
Yeah, like even if it's 5 minutes, I mean, it's so much better than none.
Hmm.
You know, we just have to build it in. We make our own schedule. We can do whatever we want.
Right, right.
I received that message because I needed to hear it. So thank you.
Go on and do something. I don't know what, like, I just feel that it has like something with the body, girl. I don't
Oh yeah.
know. Like if it's
Oh,
like a massage or like what. But last card,
okay.
girl, slow down, rest. You need it.
Good
I
Lord.
feel like there's going to be a break. Woo! Hold on, hold on.
Uh-huh. That's so interesting. So luckily, I'm very grateful. Next Monday, I get to go
Yes.
to Hawaii for 8 days. My boyfriend's taking
No
us.
way.
Yeah, we're gonna go to Hawaii for a while, and he's taking me for my 40th birthday. He's very good at taking care of me. And I'm already like, when can I get some work done? I'm already like, when I'm in
It's
Hawaii, can I bring
like
my backlog
that.
with me?
It's really
And so
like
thank you for that
that.
message because I think I need to really feel that and take my own advice and know that my business isn't going anywhere. It'll be okay.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Oh my
Thank you. So
gosh.
needed.
Ah, I love it. Okay, where are you located? Go on and just like, even though I'm gonna put everything in the show
Yeah.
notes, like where can we find you? How can we work with Jen?
Okay, so intuitivejen.com, Jen1N, and then I'm on Instagram, intuitive.jen. And then just a quick little share plug because I'm super duper
Yeah,
excited
yeah.
about it. I just opened up my first group program. So it's a 12-month program called Sacred Leadership Academy, where I basically do this entire process with you. So it's healing, embodiment work, leadership work, working on the business, getting all the things in place, but really getting you to a place where you feel so in love with yourself, so authentic, so
Hmm.
excited about what you're doing, and I hold your hand the entire way. And I've been doing a lot of one-on-one coaching over the years, but this is my first like container of community and collective. And
Oh my
so really
gosh.
excited about it. I just opened it and I'll be talking about it a little bit more as the months go on. But that's on my website. So you'll see all about that there. And if you are curious about it, you can always schedule a free call and we can chat about it.
Okay, all right. All right, thank you so much, Jen.